Vuelta a España 2017, stage 17, Los Machucos, the final climb. Contador goes mad. You can see the stats 6.6 watts per kilo for 19 and a half minutes. Here we go, is the bottom of the climb. Break up the roads. Denifil, he also did some mad numbers, probably about 6.3 watts per kilo or so. He's a minute ahead of Contador and at this moment in time. And he's up the road with his breakaway companions who managed to win. He's probably got done for blood doping, but that's beyond the thing. Contador has his best lieutenant Pantano in top form, also busted for EPO, and he goes up the road. Froome's in the red jersey, decent lead. Zacharin's on a podium spot, same as Nibali. Kelderman's looking strong, he's up for a podium, and Miguel Angel Lopez is in the white jersey. I love watching these climbs. Anyway, this climb is coming in this year's Vuelta. I made a preview video of the Vuelta stages, and this is one of the stages I think is going to kick it off. So it's about 6.7k or something, about around that length, and has these mad steep ramps. Miguel Angel Lopez decides to go. Kreisweg, was in good form, and Mike Woods, who has great power data, was also in the group as well, which is good to see. So Contador sent his man up the road. Miguel Angel Lopez counters. Kreisweg's looking strong. Froome's just hanging out, not looking on a great form. You'll also remember that the following day he had his asthma puffer. I think this was actually the stage, sorry, where he got his salbutamol readings, which were too high. Miguel Angel Lopez looking over his shoulder. He's in super good form at this moment in time. The last part of this race, 2017 Vuelta, one of the best races ever in existence. It was so good. But there he goes, winding up on the outside. You just saw him in the helicopter shot, El Pistolero, and he's going for it. And this is one of those days where Contador just cannot be denied. He goes when he attacks. Cheerio, thanks for coming. This climb suits him so well. It's not one of those pure Verbier style climbs, where he apparently rode 7 watts per kilo for 20 minutes. That was another ridiculous performance. But it's short and it's steep, but it has pinches, and Contador out the saddle seems to love that sort of stuff. And now you can see why it's more ridiculous. He did 6.6 watts per kilo because it's up and it's down. So he's probably doing 7.2 watts per kilo in this part. And on the flatter parts, it's like 40k an hour sort of stuff. It really is. There's almost sort of downhills on it, it seems, because this stuff's so steep. Denifil looking strong out front, 5k to go. Basque fans going absolutely mental. Danny Moreno from Movistar's got dropped. Jack Haig was in between. He was trying to launch Chavez, didn't really work, but Haig was sort of halfway up the road. But look how steep that is. It's absolutely bonkers. But you go into the bottom with loads of momentum, and then, halfway up the climb, you're not going to have any momentum. But Contador's just so good. He can just grind this pace out. Lopez is getting dropped. Contador, I think, was running a 34-32. I think he posted on Instagram. The motorbike is stalling. This is 18%. And Denifil is just looking on a different level. Like, Aqua Blue got their first win. But there, see, he had a momentary pause, put it in the big ring. Now we're going downhill, and it averages crazy amounts. Chris Froome, could he put smaller gears? Probably. He doesn't like grinding. But you can see he's getting dropped. He's got a lot of Team Sky boys around him. But a lot of the other guys are up the road. He's already losing a minute to Nibali, and BMC are at the back. I believe that might be a young Roman Bardet on the back. I'm not 100% sure. But Denifil's still on the front, 3.6k to go. His time gap was pretty decent the whole time. But Contador is catching him, obviously. Look how thin Contador is on this thing. He's like a stick, and he's distanced everyone else. I believe Jack Haig, he's just about to come up to. And catch. But this was one of his best performances, I thought, on the bike. There looks like Bardet. There's Froome. He's got some difficulties taking a gel. It's never a good sign if you're taking a gel, 3.5k to go. This is the main GC group with Mike Woods at the back, Ilna Zacharin, Kreiswijk, Nibali, Micah, and Kelderman. Behind him I believe, is David de la Cruz, who did crash out in the Vuelta, unfortunately, on the way to the Angleroo. And Nibali's really pushing. He put a lot of time. This race was basically between Nibali and Froome, and he put a lot of time into Froome on this particular climb, really distancing him quite significantly. And looked like Froome, the Vuelta curse could continue for him, but Contador was just gaining and putting more and more time into Froome. He's put already a minute into Froome, and now he's got Jack Haig for company on the back of him, and you'll just see, literally just rides him off his wheel. He just goes mad. There's Enrique Mas up the road as well. His young prodigy, the man who used to ride for his Continental development team, and now he thinks it's going to surpass him. But Contador gets out the saddle, and cheerio, he's just flying away. Micah and Nibali looking behind. It's one of those climbs where drafting helps on the flatter sections, but on those steep sections, drafting does not help at all. You're going 10k an hour. But Froome has his boys do the pace. I guess Chris Froome, he's clever. He realizes, I'm not on a good day. I'm not gonna, try hold their wheels. I'm just gonna set my own tempo, and that's how you win Grand Tours. Unfortunately, not very exciting to watch for the viewers, but that is how you do it mathematically. And he's paced it back to Nibali now. It says they're 2 seconds away from each other, but it looked like they're a lot further apart. But he's got his team on the front, absolutely drilling it, making sure that everyone's coming back. Contador's getting further and further away. But Deneville, what a ride! I mean, like Contador's, he's gained time on him, but like 30 seconds on him. Not crazy, crazy amounts. Denifil's doing a mad one. This is Mikel Nieve on the front. Wout has just got dropped. You can see he's behind. And Froome is putting all sorts of faces. But that style of Contador, just rocking the bike back to forth, like the front wheel left to right, left to right. That's the podium, apart from Chris Froome, Zakharine, and Nibali. Zakharine's arguably best performance he ever. I don't think he actually won a stage, but he was looking really good. There's Jack Hay getting caught in distance. Still did 6 watts per kilo for the day, so not too shabby at all. There's Miguel Angel Lopez, who went with Contador and just got blown up because Contador's on one of those days. You can see what I mean, though. This climb is really like rampy, and here we go into one of those steep sections. But Chris Froome and Miguel Nieve just remain calm. I think that's David Dela Cruz and Enric Mas ahead of them. Obviously, David De La Cruz has got signed for Sky and has been pretty disappointing, hasn't really done anything. But yeah, Chris Froome is looking not in great condition. Obviously, he never looked super aesthetic on the bike, but Miguel Nieve is really digging in now, supporting the boys. But again, Contador is still now he's gained another 30 seconds and he's closing on to Denefil. And you then have Miguel Angel Lopez up the road who's finally got caught. So I guess he must have done some good power on that day as well. And Nieve is just giving absolutely everything. A rider from the Basque Country and just drilling it. This road looks pretty well paved as well. Bit wet, classic Basque Country sort of ride. And there's Contador, and you can see it's a real hard man's climb. Everyone's just absolutely grinning. There's no one who looks like they're trying to hide their suffering. Everyone's just absolutely on the limit. Mike Wood's getting distance off a little bit on the back of this climb, which has a lot of hairpins actually as well. But it has rampas. What was there was a Spanish phrase which was absolutely hers. It was like rampas inhumanas, I think it was. My Spanish is hideous. I'm sorry about that. I can't speak any Spanish. But Italian, yeah, I'll do that for you boys. So we keep going, keep going. There we go. Enric Mas has said cheerio. I'm not going to be helping David De La Cruz anymore, and Chris Froome just stays behind. So unfortunately, we don't get to see too much of Contador. But suffice to say, he's still doing well. Again, on this climb, there's no drafting really for a lot of it. On the real the time you're gonna make like the bit you're gonna make time on. Sorry, it's this steep part where Contador is just flying. Like it's hard to realize, but like how steep this is. This is probably at least 12%, and like he's just absolutely flying up this part. It's bonkers how good he was. 6.6 watts per kilo at the end of the stage. It was a hard stage at the end of the Grand Tour. I mean, like when he posts his numbers of what was it, 7.2 watts per kilo, 460 watts, or like 62 kilos or something, or maybe it was 7.4. It was bonkers numbers, bonkers, and people couldn't believe it. And when he backs it up with 6.6, apparently on this one, then it does seem through. Zakharine again, good sort of well to this, didn't crash, looked in control, didn't blow up spectacularly. There's Danny Moreno getting caught and passed. Mike Wood still just hanging on the back. This was a good thing. Mike Woods' power meter does overread a little bit. If anyone is interested in looking at his power data, like it said he did 6.5, but was like quite far back compared to Contador, like a good 30 seconds to a minute. So his power meter does overread, and people didn't know that. But even so, he was one of the only Grand Tour contenders in recent time to document the whole, all of his power for the whole of Vuelta, which was very good because we don't normally get to see that. We just get to see excerpts. But yeah, it was very interesting. And Contador is just giving it absolutely everything. He really wants to win. This is his last Vuelta. He retired after this. He is absolutely going for it. He wants the Vuelta to win so badly. The time is coming down. You can tell Denifil's probably cracking the Garda Sabia, looking after the boy. Zacharine's coming from behind, but they are quite far back. They are probably still 20 to 30 seconds behind Alberto Contador. And Contador is just absolutely flying and just trying to catch Denifil as quickly as possible and just get him. I think as soon as he catches Denifil, he would definitely crack him. And there's another Brittany flag. So the Brittany flags are absolutely everywhere under the Flamme Rouge for these guys. So they are quite far away. So would say 40 seconds maybe from where Contador and Denifil are. Nieve and Froome are still a long way back and in trouble for sure. Bassban's out. There's De La Cruz. There's Jack Haig. There's Kreiswijk. So Kreiswijk is popped as well. He looked like he was going good early on, but again, it just shows you need to need to pace your efforts. Don't go too hard too early if you want to be a boring GC contender, which is unfortunately what the sport encourages. But I would that's why I like to see Contador because like he does just go for it. I mean, you get other riders who don't, and then we get this nice sort of descent into the finish, and there we go. Los Machucos is finished. Denifil has taken the win, his only significant win of the year, and a couple of years later he's getting popped for blood transfusions, I believe it was. Contador comes back. He did put in a lot of time. This climb, if I mean, it's similar to the way it's a downhill finish to the angler. I almost thought I got the wrong footage for him, but no. Contador comes back like 20 odd seconds behind, but he was on good form. 2 stages later, he took the win up the angler route, and I might find some footage of that because everyone loves a bit of angler route footage. Oh no, I actually have a video on that. I have comparing angler route and when Kobo won 2011, who also got done for EPO and all some sort of blood issues, and Chris Froome has just taken the Vuelta 2011 title recently. But yeah, that's a quality video. It's a retro Charlie Carlson cycling video from a couple years back. These are the Achtervolkers, the chasers, as they say in Belgium. Zacharin's going in for a little sprint. I always love these sprints between the skinniest boys in pro cycling. Pretty good. Miguel Angel Lopez knows take the corner, and you've got it. Does he put a second gap in? Yeah, I reckon they'll give him a second for that. And Miguel Angel Lopez is obviously a favourite for this year with his big tour. Chris Froome's coming in, doesn't want to deck it. He's not going to take any risk on this last little descent part. Actually, no, sorry, he's still got a long, long way to go because he's another minute back, I reckon, or 30, 40 seconds back from this. But yeah, it's a disgusting, disgusting, disgusting climb. I definitely need to go to the Basque Country, try to get some races, get spat in all of them, and do some of these epic climbs because they look so, so much fun. And no excuse on the Watts Paquito front from me. Um, but yeah, so this stage will be decisive for sure because you can't hide as it's shown. You can, if you have teammates like let's say Kreiswijk or Roglic or Miguel Lopez are on bad days, their teams will be able to help them for sure. But it's not going to be one of those situations where they can really save them. And there you go. There's Wout Poels, and that's pretty much it. So we'll now look at the power data from the guys, and here it is. So as you can see, decently lumpy stage, like obviously beginning bit not too bad, but if we look at Jack Haig's power, I'd say that's probably, or Mike Woods. So Jack Haig was obviously in the breakaway. So if you want to have a sort, well, no, sorry, Jack Haig wasn't in the breakaway. He only launched it on this climb here. So, but Jack Haig is super super strong. But you can see here that Mike Woods' power data is obviously incorrect because 19 minutes, 19 minutes. Okay, it's the fastest climb drafting, 5.9 watts per kilo, 6.22. So take his power data with a little pinch of salt. So you can see the first part says he did 6.9, so it's probably more like 6.7. But anyway, incredible power nonetheless. But it's a pretty hard day, 304 normalized power. So for these boys, that's pretty hard for them. Obviously, it's not off the chart, but it's still a hard day out. And normalized power here is for Jack Hager is 320. Yeah, so he was, I believe, in the break. I'm not sure if he's in the break, but anyway, he was up the road. I think he was trying to set up Chavez. But on the Los Machucos alone, so you can see, Tobias Ludwigsen, 5.64 watts per kilo, 24 minutes, and he's still like 5 minutes back on a 20 odd minute climb compared to Contador. He's just, he's 62, 63 kilos, something around that weight. And then Jack Haig did 21.12, 6 watts per kilo. And so you'd suggest Denethor was somewhere around six and watts per kilo. And Mike Woods did 6.5, but finished like a minute behind Mike Woods. So it's probably more like, sorry, in Contador, so it's probably more like 6.2 watts per kilo. But you can see here, slightly higher than expected. So yeah, it's a hard stage for everyone. It's going to be really good. I'm super excited for it. This is the profile. Pretty steep parts, downhill, steep, steep, steep. And it's hard climb, and I can't wait to see it in the Vuelta this year. So cheers for watching. Hope you did enjoy, and catch me all for the Vuelta.